To say Obi-Wan Kenobi is a disappointment is kinda selling it short. I did not have high expectations of this show based on the quality of Star Wars content we have been getting, but dear lord did this show unexpectedly go off the deep end in terms of the overall quality. Like, I was expecting this show to just be meh, but it actually came out quite bad, and it honestly makes me upset. As someone who loves the Star Wars universe as a whole, and especially the original trilogy, it is quite disheartening and sad to see such a lack of creativity and incompetency coming out of a lot of the recent Star Wars properties. Like, seriously, Lucasfilm. Is this the best you can do? And to see a show with such poor quality come out of a studio with so much time and resources not only feels pathetic, it feels like an insult. Yeah, I find this show to be quite insulting, honestly. Because ever since Disney bought the Star Wars license, one of the most requested and anticipated ideas of something for them to make was a show or movie focusing on Obi-Wan after the events of Revenge of the Sith. I remember seeing online fan posters, art, and spaces where people were so excited at the possibilities of an Obi-Wan story, where it could go, where Obi-Wan would be, what characters he could encounter, etc. Then Disney, 7 years later, delivered, and what they delivered was an abomination. Out of all shows to put time, effort, or work into, you would think this would be the one to do it considering the high anticipation. But it looks like they treated it as another cash grab opportunity to make a quick buck, because why put effort into your show when you know it will make money and everyone will just accept it? I know many people found the show to be good, and that's okay. I can't force them to be right, but I have no idea how they are coming to that conclusion. Like, this show is just bad. It's really bad. But can I make a case showing you on why I have come to that conclusion? Yeah, I believe I can. So I shall be going through each episode of Obi-Wan and demonstrate to you with the best of my ability why this show is such a colossal disappointment in my eyes. And even if you still like the show after watching my full critique, hopefully you will at least understand why I find this show to be quite disappointing. So let's take a look into the show and see how it holds up. The series begins with a trigger warning. For what? I legitimately don't know what in particular this notice is for. Like, what in the series was so triggering to get this warning? Soon after that trigger warning, it's followed up by a 5-minute flashback recap of certain scenes from the prequel movies to remind the audience of what has happened up to this point. I really don't know how to feel about this. Yeah, sure, I guess it's useful for those who don't remember the prequels and need a refresher. But one thing for sure is the music sucks. It sounds as generic as any action song used in like a fan-made edit on YouTube.
As wise as Master Yoda, and as powerful as Master Windu.
Don't give up, Padme. The power to save Padme.
Lucasfilm, couldn't you have composed something a little better? Or just reuse the good stuff that's recognizable, you know? Like Duel of the Fates or something? Like, that will help bring back the vibes of the prequels. Or put like a Samuel Kim soundtrack on. His stuff is great. See, it would have been much better than this. Anyway, after that recap with lame music, we cut to a Jedi Master teaching their younglings to dance. I mean, use the Force. I don't know what they're doing. I guess this is some sort of Jedi interpretive dance training that I'm not aware of. Dance lessons over, it's Order 66 time.
Wow! That was shit.
Let's take a look at this again. So firstly, the crew tries to implore the use of shaky cam, and it's as annoying as the last 100 times it has been used in the last 100 movies. Like, this is a gimmick that is way overused and not used appropriately a lot of the time. There are situations where it can be useful and help enhance the experience. Take Saving Private Ryan, for example. It is used there to help provide immersion as if you were really there and also implore a chaotic and fast-paced feel to the surrounding environment. It doesn't work here because there is nothing chaotic about this situation as it stands. There are 2 clone troopers shooting. That is it. This shaking arguably would be of better use if it was in an environment full of clone troopers and Jedi with lasers coming from all directions. It would be a more chaotic situation to fit the shakiness of the camera. The shakiness here is just a gimmick to try to make the situation more exciting, but it just makes the cinematography more annoying. Next, let's address the clones. Look how terrible their shot is. They miss by like a few feet and the Jedi is right in front of them. Showrunners, you got this mixed up. They're clone troopers, not stormtroopers. Let's compare with the Order 66 scene from Revenge of the Sith. See? They hit their targets pretty dead on. They all aimed much better. Even when the Jedi were blocking it with a lightsaber, at least they weren't missing by a mile like these clones. So to make these first shots a bit better and make this scene a little more competent, maybe just have the Jedi pull the lightsaber out immediately and have her block the bolt, rather than have the clones miss 5 shots as bad as sequel trilogy stormtroopers. But unfortunately, that's not the worst part of this scene. Next, let's take a look at the choreography, because honestly, it's quite hilarious. Let's first watch the clone trooper on the left. So first he fires, then misses about 4 times. But take a look here. What is that? Why did he look away for a second? Was he force pushed? Hang on, let's rewind. Maybe? If that's the case, that is the weakest force push I have ever seen in anything Star Wars. Punching him would probably do more damage than this weak-ass force push. Jedi lady, you just forced him to shoot the ceiling. That is not tactical or resourceful. If you're that weak of a Jedi, maybe force pull or push the weapon out of the clone's hand so he can't use it? How in the world are you authorized to train these younglings? Alright, so the trooper regains his composure and like an idiot walks up to the Jedi within slicing range. The Jedi slices him, but notice this. He gets hit and then drops the gun. He doesn't drop the gun the instant he gets hit with the saber. He gets hit and then drops it. But he just kind of stands there so that he can get sliced a second time. Now let's look at the clone trooper on the right. He comes in like the other and starts to fire. Misses less shots than the other guy, so good job on him. Then he points his gun down at the floor? Why? What the hell is he pointing the gun at the floor for? And no, he wasn't force pushed. The Jedi was force pushing the other one at best. Okay, so he points the gun down and then points it again at the Jedi but doesn't fire instantly. He seems to take a second before taking another shot. The bolt gets deflected and the clone points the gun back down again and backs off. But then he runs up to the Jedi to get sliced. Doesn't even stay where he's at. He's just like, no, I'm gonna go ahead and run up to the Jedi. Oops, I'm too far back. Gotta get in position for my death. So lastly, let's look at the moves of the Jedi. Okay, so first she dodges right. That's fine, I guess. Then pulls out her saber to deflect the blaster bolts. She then does this. Like, what are you trying to slice? The air? What were you aiming at with that saber? You weren't even deflecting. You just thrust your saber forward because what? You think it looks cool? She then does a little twirl, deflects, and then spins around. No. That is bad. You do not spin around and have your back exposed to 2 guys with guns. Did you get this idea from Anakin?
I'll try spinning. That's a good trick.
I know you're just trying to look cool, Jedi Master, but there's proper situations and better utilizations for spinning, and this is not one of them. Last thing to address, as I said in my Boys Season 2 review, do not walk up to your target where their weapon is within range of stabbing you. That's the reason guns are useful, so that you can hit and kill your target without having to get within arm's reach. Okay, we're done with that terrible choreography. Let's go ahead and finally move on. So after the 2 clones die, the Jedi Master motions the younglings to come with her to get to safety. Next shot, we see a Jedi get killed by 2 clones in the background. Wow, if only the last 2 clones were as good as those. The Jedi Master does a spinny, and it actually does at least a little something by deflecting a bolt into one of the clones, but she also does this like major swipe. What the hell are you slicing at? There's no one there. More clone troopers walk up to the Jedi to get sliced because they're suicidal, I guess. Whoa, watch where you're pointing that saber, okay? More clones come into frame from behind. The Jedi then flares up like she got hit, even though she did not. Like, let's play it back. They hit the saber, not her, but she's just like, oh gosh, I got hit. Also, this clone looks back for a second, so the Jedi does more twisties. This kid runs up to almost get hit by the lightsaber. Jedi Master does some 360 no-scope, slices 2 more clones, but gets shot in the process and sadly dies. Rest in peace, Jedi Master. Your 360 no-scopes will be remembered forever. The kids are like, no, but they continue onward and run away to get out of the temple. Well, that was an underwhelming scene. This show is not looking promising so far based off this. Hopefully the lightsaber duel between Kenobi and Darth will be better. We then cut to the title screen and then to Tatooine 10 years later, seeing locals do their Tatooine thing of being hot. We then see the Inquisitor ship fly over the streets of Mos Eisley, and I will say, I actually like this shot. I think it is very communicative of the oppressive and intimidating presence the Empire and the Inquisitors have on the population. Plus, it's symmetrical, which makes it balanced.
As all things should be.
The ship lands in the street, and out come the Inquisitors. They walk down the streets, intimidating the locals, and come across a little saloon. The bar owner comes out to meet them.
You know who we are.
Inquisitors.
You know what we do?
Why are you asking that if the saloon keeper already knows who you are? So this is the Grand Inquisitor. The Grand Inquisitor gives this whole speech about Jedi code and how they hunt themselves, and Reva here, also known as Third Sister, gets bored of it and throws a knife at the saloon keeper, but it gets stopped in midair by the Jedi, revealing himself, which, by the way, dude, you don't have to keep holding it in the air like that. You know you could have just stopped it and dropped it right after. There's no point in holding it there for like 5 seconds. Also, minor point, but we have seen Jedi able to use the Force without the needs of physically using their hands. In Return of the Jedi, we see Luke lift 3PO with his hands literally tied. So I would think something as small as a knife could potentially be stopped without the Jedi here having to show off their very obvious hand gesture. But oh well, he needs to be discovered for the sake of the plot. So Reva points out the very obvious Jedi, and the guy gets up and tries to escape by going in the same direction where the Inquisitors are. Funny, I would assume there is another point of exit, like in the back of the saloon, or maybe another exit in the building, but I guess this is the only way out. The Jedi jumps on a table and right into an Inquisitor. Yeah, I don't know why he did that. You're supposed to be avoiding the Inquisitors, not running into them. The Jedi dives to the side while this Inquisitor literally just stands there looking annoyed and not doing anything. Perhaps he was perplexed by this Jedi stupidity of walking right into him. The Jedi ducks under the table and slides right into Reva. The Grand Inquisitor tells them to prepare the Jedi for interrogation, but Reva decides she just wants to slice the guy. But Grand Inquisitor uses the Force to stop Reva from slicing him. The saber barely touches the Jedi, and the Jedi just kind of stands there and takes it, even though, like, that should hurt and maybe make him flinch away, but he just kind of just stands there and yeah, he just stands there awkwardly. So after Grand Inquisitor pushes Reva aside to stop her from killing the Jedi runs out and Force pulls down 2 curtains and the Inquisitors let him escape. Wait, what? What the hell is going on here? So firstly, why does the Jedi do that? He brought down like 2 sections of the drapes. What is that going to do? Anyone can just walk around it or walk through the holes. Like, this is not a barrier to stop the Inquisitors. This literally does nothing. But secondly, what are the 3 Inquisitors doing? The Jedi is right there, like 10 feet away. Why aren't they running after him? What, the 2 flimsy broken drapes are their greatest weakness? You could just run around it like this guy is doing, or just run through it. Reva frickin' does that later. Why aren't they chasing him? The Jedi is literally right there, and they're just like, hey, running after a Jedi is hard. I know we are Inquisitors and Force users, but it's just so hard, you know, to run, chase, even though it's our frickin' jobs and what we're literally trained to do. This whole escape and scene is just stupid and makes no sense. I have no idea why this is happening. So anyway, the Jedi miraculously escapes, and the Grand Inquisitor tells Reva that she is reckless. Yeah, I would say that to all 3 of you if this is how easy a Jedi can escape under your watch. Reva says she is tired of hunting scraps and wants to hunt bigger prey, but Grand Inquisitor says he knows she means Kenobi and tells her to get off that high horse. Oh wait, I think I figured Reva out. She's one of the younglings in the opening scene, isn't she? Perhaps she saw Anakin kill some younglings in Jedi and knows that Obi-Wan is his master, so she is looking for Obi-Wan to get revenge? Oh man, if that is what this turns out to be, that will be the fastest I've ever figured a character out. We then cut to a meat factory where we finally see this is what Obi-Wan Kenobi does for a daily job. At the end of the day, he punches out and gets on a transport land speeder back to Mos Eisley. Then he goes and gets his space camel and rides his space camel out of Mos Eisley to his hideout in the desert. He does have a home security system that alerts him if he had any visitors while away. Actually, not that bad of an idea, to be honest. Good props to that. While at his home cooking and eating, he gets visited by a Jawa here to sell him parts and a toy for Luke. The interaction is actually pretty okay. Nothing really wrong, and Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan performance seems to be as expected from the prequel series. So yeah, nothing really to comment here on that much. It's a pretty okay scene. Next, we then see Obi-Wan sleeping and having a nightmare. Although I don't know why he would be dreaming of Anakin in the Starfighter, he wasn't there to see that. I think they just wanted to do a graphic edit between these 2 shots. Obi-Wan wakes up from the nightmare and tries to reach out to Master Qui-Gon, but unfortunately is not so successful. He rides off to check up on Luke at the farm, watching him from a distance. So far, this section of the episode seems fine compared to the last 2 scenes. When night falls, Obi-Wan rides up to the farm and drops off the toy for Luke. While riding back, it is implied that someone vicious is watching Obi-Wan, but it is revealed that it is is the Jedi from the beginning and introduces himself to Obi-Wan as Nari.
You're making some kind of mistake.
I think you mean to say you're mistaking me for someone else? Like, that honestly was kind of a weird reply to say, but whatever, it's not that big a deal. By the way, little fun fact, this Jedi is played by Benny Safdie. If that name sounds familiar, he is one of the Safdie brothers who are a directing pair known for the films Good Time and Uncut Gems, which are both pretty good films I do recommend watching. Anyway, Nari has come here to get some help from Obi-Wan.
What are you doing here, Obi-Wan?
My name is Ben.
Please. You have no idea what I've been through.
Yeah, he does. He knows exactly what you've been through, Nari. Maybe even more so. We are all oppressed and hunted Jedi here. Also, how is Obi-Wan supposed to help? What can he do? Provide shelter? Like, if you're being hunted, you should probably go to another planet remote like this one, dude. That's all that I can think that will help you at this point. Anyway, Obi-Wan tells Nari that he should stay hidden and live a normal life because the battle is lost and the time for the Jedi is over. So with that, Obi-Wan heads off back to his home base. Next, we cut to Rolderon to see a clothing montage. Breha Organa comes in thinking it's Princess Leia, but it is a servant in disguise instead.
She insisted you would find it amusing, Your Highness.
Well, you're not really good servants, are you? So then we cut to see Leia for the first time, who is out running in the woods being a little free bird because she is the rebel and oh my god, running in the woods is so magical. Yeah, how many Disney princesses does this sequence remind you of? She also has a robot friend with her, Lola, which of course exists to sell more merchandise at Disney World. She climbs up a tree and takes notes of all the ships that are leaving, naming them out loud, because she is smart, as the writers are trying to say. But her ship naming gets interrupted by her mother, who finds her and tells her to get down from the tree. She also tells Leia to turn off Lola.
But she didn't do anything.
No, kid, turning off Lola is a punishment for you, not the bot. So anyway, Leia tells her mommy that all she does is smile and wave and is not seen as important and wants to do more.
I want more.
My goodness, the Disney princess vibes are getting stronger. Does anyone else feel that? So anyway, they go inside to get Leia ready and we see, oh no, there is a Batman watching from the trees. So we cut back to Obi-Wan, who is getting off another day of work. Owen Lars comes in throwing the toy at Obi-Wan, telling Obi-Wan to stay away from Luke.
Is he okay?
You don't care if he's okay. You care if he's showing.
Ooh, sick burn. Also, minor point, but I don't think you guys should be talking about this here. Like, this is kind of an open space. Someone could potentially hear you, you know. So after Owen and Obi-Wan have their little exchange, the Inquisitors come in again. Obi-Wan takes cover while Owen stands in the streets with the rest of the crowd. Fifth brother here informs the crowd that they are looking for the Jedi. Reva starts threatening the crowd and someone speaks up against Reva, so Reva decides to chop her frickin' hand off.
All we want is information.
Yeah, you seem to want more than that, Reva. Reva takes note of Owen and points him out, asking if he knows something. She starts to press Owen and begins her interrogation of him.
You protect your family. You think you could protect them from me?
Tell me where the Jedi is, or this man and his family die.
Yeah, okay, this is not working. Sorry to say, but Reva is not really intimidating. If anything, this is just cringy. Now, I am not saying Moses Ingram can't act at all, but I do not think that she is good at trying to be intimidating. And honestly, it just makes me want to laugh whenever she tries to be intimidating or scream off the top of her lungs. It just isn't convincing. Reminds me of Superman trying to be like Batman.
We need a name, and we want it right now. A little too hard. Sorry, Batman, I mean, that's nothing compared to what I'm about to do to you, Deadshot. Let's put a little light on the subject. Oh, sorry. Too bright?
Look, I at least will say Moses is trying a bit, I can tell, but I just don't find her convincing in regards to her trying to be intimidating. So after that hilarious display and Fifth Brother not doing anything for the longest time, Fifth Brother finally comes in to stop the situation. He tells the people to let them know if they find the Jedi and tells Third Sister to stand down. They walk away from the crowd and Fifth Bro confronts Third Sis, saying she is impulsive and still has this fixation with Kenobi. He tells her she goes too far and she replies with,
Maybe you don't go far enough.
that was a pretty bad delivery.
Thank you, Owen.
Didn't do it for you.
Geez, you two really need to not talk here. This is really risky. Anyway, back to Leia's world, the other family members have arrived on the planet. They all get into their space taxis and head to what looks to be, I guess, a family reunion, party, something like that. A robot comes up and gives Leia some sustenance and Leia thanks her. But Leia's cousin does not seem to be impressed with this interaction.
You think you're droids?
It's good manners.
Don't need manners when you're talking to a lower life form.
Wow, very subtle bigotry, huh? But it goes further than that. Bigot Boy here says he knows that Leia's parents don't let her leave this planet or have anyone know about her because she is not a real Organa. Oh, that is not good. Like, how does he know that? He should not know that. Nobody should know that except Leia's parents. We are trying to keep Leia's real origins under wraps here because, you know, daughter of Darth Vader. Like, this should be a big concern for the Organa family. Not even Leia should know she was adopted. Anyway, Leia puts the burn in the guy, saying that he is scared of his father and that he has daddy issues and wants people to be afraid of him. Leia's parents take notes of her interaction and brings her into another room to talk with her about her behavior. Leia's father talks with her, saying that she will one day be looked up to be a good senator, and that she is a real Organa in every way. They pinky swear, and her father tells her that he will be waiting downstairs. But instead, Leia takes this opportunity to run away into the forest again. Only this time, she runs into a group of bad henchmen. Funny how she literally did not notice him until he was literally 8 feet in front of her, but I'll blame that on bad direction. But don't worry, that isn't by far the worst part of this upcoming scene. The henchman tells Leia that he has been waiting for her, and 2 more guys show up behind her. Leia starts to run, and chase starts to ensue, and this is where the big stupid begins. Alright, so after Leia sees what is happening, she starts to run away, and the 2 guys behind her are like, taken aback? They take a good second to realize oh no, she's running away, we need to go after her. And when they run, they don't even look like they're trying to catch her. It looks more like a light jog. But it gets worse than that. The next shot shows Leia running away, and for some reason, true grown henchmen cannot catch a 10-year-old. I don't know if the creators of this show are aware, but an adult can usually run faster than a 10-year-old if they actually try. Pretty sure 9 times out of 10, if you pit the average adult against a 10-year-old kid in terms of running, the adult's gonna win. In what world or for what reason are these thugs not able to catch this child in 10 seconds? It's extremely bizarre. Secondly, look at the green fish henchman here. Look how he's running. That is a very odd and silly looking run. Anyway, one of the henchmen is about to catch Leia until... oh no, he's been thwarted by a frickin' tree branch. A tree branch that is only 2 feet above the ground. Well, that sucks. It isn't like he can just step or jump over it, right? Or perhaps he could lift it out of the way? What the hell am I watching? Why are you stopping it as if this is some big obstacle? Just jump or step over it. It is not that high. But guess what? This isn't the only time the thugs get stopped by a tree branch. Take a look here. Oh my god, are you serious? Hey Grinch, have you ever heard of the concept called ducking? Bend your knees, get your head lower than the branch, then walk. Seriously, you'd be surprised how effective that is in situations like this. Or just crawl like Leia is doing. Copy Leia, for God's sake. Good god, these henchmen. Are we sure this isn't a Mel Brooks parody of Star Wars? Okay, yep, we are definitely in a Mel Brooks parody of Star Wars now. Oh my god, you could just push those branches. I'm done. This is so stupid. Whose idea was it to make this pathetic chase scene? Anyway, Leia finds a royal guard, but the guard gets shot, and Leia finally gets surrounded and captured after frickin' forever. God, that was terrible. You know what would have made this whole scene better? Here, watch this.
For you.
See? No stupid chase scene, no stupid twigs blocking henchmen, just a simple and easy capture. Okay, anyway, the Organas realize their daughter is kidnapped and they decide to contact, get this, Obi-Wan. They tell him that she needs him and that there is no one else to trust. Yeah, I don't believe that. Firstly, why is Obi-Wan the only one who can help you find Leia? You can't have your royal guards try to find her? You can't hire a private investigative firm with all your power? What about the Senate? Your family? There has to be many more options besides Obi-Wan who can help you find Leia. Having Obi-Wan go after her is not a good idea. That could potentially expose him and create unnecessary heat on him. Why does it have to be Obi-Wan? Even Obi-Wan puts forth these options I mentioned.
What about the Senate? Were you a guard then? Or a bounty hunter?
And what is the Organics' excuse?
We cannot let this become public. It would draw too much attention.
Why is that a bad thing? Too much attention that your daughter is missing? Why is that a bad thing for the Senate to know? That might get the Senate to get some resources together to help you find your daughter? I fail to see how this is an excuse or good reason for the Senate or any other form of government to not know that your daughter is missing. Even Obi-Wan suggests a bounty hunter, which is honestly not a bad idea.
Or a bounty hunter.
Only you know how important she really is, Obi-Wan.
So what? What does it matter that Obi-Wan knows who she really is or how important she is? That's irrelevant as a reason to not get a bounty hunter. This is just a bad excuse. Heck, I don't think it even counts as an excuse. Pretty sure a good sum of money and persuasion will convince any good bounty hunter to take your daughter's kidnapping very seriously. But despite all this, Obi-Wan tells them that it is not a good idea and tells the Organas to find someone else to find her daughter. We then see another day at work for Obi-Wan. You know, we have seen this 3 times now, and I don't kind of know why we are seeing this again. We know this is what he does for a day job and how he gets back to Mos Eisley. Like, there's not really a reason to show us this a 3rd time. There's nothing new they're showing or no new information they're conveying. It's just showing the same thing again. Anyway, at Mos Eisley, we see that unfortunately Nari was found and executed. Although, who did it? Was it the Inquisitors? The Inquisitors wanted to question the Jedi, not kill him. Well, except Reva. Was it Reva that did this? Why display him like this? Next, we see Obi-Wan go back to his cave and his alarm light is red. Uh-oh. He walks in to see that Bail Organa has come here, which is not the smartest decision at all. Bail has come to convince Obi-Wan to move on from the past and get his help to find Leia. Well, I guess Obi-Wan's arc is now complete by episode 1. Hallelujah. We then cut back to Leia, who is tied up on the ship. We see her pulling Lola out of her pocket. Seriously? The henchmen didn't even search her before tying her up? Or did they just let her keep that robot thinking it wouldn't do anything? Really not the best of decisions, my dude. Lola's about to free Leia, but the leader guy just happens to walk in just as she is being freed to smash the droid. What convenient timing. We cut back to the desert where Obi-Wan digs up the lightsabers that he buried in the middle of the desert? How did he find them? Did he keep coordinates or use the Force? Okay, whatever. He just happens to find them again in the middle of the desert somehow. The show then cuts to Reva, showing us that she was the one who set up Leia's kidnapping initially because she wants to draw out Kenobi. Because she found out that Obi-Wan fought with Bail in the Clone Wars, which begs the question on how did she find that out and not anyone else who may be looking for Kenobi like the other Inquisitors or maybe Darth Vader? Was she seriously the first one to come across this information? Well, I guess Reva is just that good. So the episode ends with Kenobi taking a ship to the system where Leia is so that he can rescue her. Oh geez, don't go showing that, Obi-Wan. Why are you wearing your lightsaber on your side? I mean, I know that's how Jedi usually wear their sabers, but like, if anyone just lifts his robe a little bit, they would see it and maybe make out he's a Jedi. He should probably hide that lightsaber a little better. Like, put it in his pocket or put it in a bag or something. He is just asking to be found out. Okay, episode 1 is done. Now, despite the very big problems I pointed out, I actually think this episode is okay-ish. I think there's some stuff in here that is just fine and that I have no big issues with. Most of the stuff when Obi-Wan comes in, like seeing how his life is, was fine. His interaction with the Jawa was fine. Him watching Luke seemed to fit. I find the episode below average, but at least it wasn't as trashy as I was thinking. Heck, maybe episode 2 will be better. Part 2 begins with Obi-Wan arriving on Daiyu. He gets off holding a Game Boy and finds a nearby pedestrian to get help finding the ship he was tracking. But the pedestrian says that all signals are blocked here. So Obi-Wan has no lead so far, but decides to push onward. Now I will say I kinda like this setting, partially because, you know, it's something else besides frickin' Tatooine, thank God. And it's maybe a new area to explore. Also, I like how there's a clone veteran sitting on the street, something I have not seen before and makes sense to why it's happening. Because the Empire soon starts to just take anyone from planets and enrolls them in their army, and doesn't have as big as need for the clones anymore. That could be an interesting story to explore. About a discarded clone? Although, I would say, Obi-Wan, you kinda look a little suspicious. I mean, you're wearing a Jedi robe. I feel like you should probably be wearing an outfit that doesn't give it so much away. So anyway, Obi-Wan continues walking and looking for help. He comes across, I guess, a drug dealer and asks for help finding Leia. The dealer replies that he will probably not see her again and that nobody is going to get off this planet. Yeah, good point actually. Obi-Wan has no idea where on the planet she is. He could be on the other side of the planet from where Leia is. So yeah, good luck, Obi-Wan. So the dealer gives him a drug for free because it will probably be needed later for the plot. A kid walks up to Obi-Wan and offers to take him to a Jedi in exchange for some money. Obi-Wan accepts the offer and comes across the supposed Jedi and watches from a distance. This Jedi is helping a mother and son gain passage off the planet. Or at least, it appears that way at first. From the shooing it in performance to the overacting, it is very clear this guy is not a real Jedi and is probably scamming this mother and son for their money. Obi-Wan as well deduces this, so he comes in and surprises the imposter Jedi. He asks the Jedi for help, and the Jedi says he will do it for a price. Obi-Wan then stops playing around and pulls out a gun and tells the fake Jedi he knows he is lying. So Obi-Wan blackmails the fake Jedi into getting help to find Leia. The imposter Jedi gives Obi-Wan a place to go, and it appears to be an episode of Breaking Bad Batch. Obi-Wan puts on a lab suit, and I would say I find it kinda odd that no one takes note of him. Like he's never been here before. You think any of these lab workers who've been here a while would be like, "Hey, you, are you new here?" Anyway, Obi-Wan needs to get into the back room but needs a security card. So he creates a distraction by blowing up some random science speaker, and he very much not so swiftly takes this guy's card. Like, come on, I think anyone would have noticed him pickpocketing, including the guy who had the card itself. So Obi-Wan gets into the back room and gets confronted by two guys. He fights them hand to hand and demands he tells them where the girl is. He gets directed to a room and oh no, it's a trap set up by the buffoon henchman who couldn't catch Leia from the last episode. Well hey, at least this is a slightly better trap than what they had for Leia last episode.
I figured you'd be smarter than to risk everything for a spoiled little...
Yeah, good point, Baldy. It still has not been addressed on why the hell Obi-Wan is the only one who could possibly save Leia. There's still no good reason why Organa could have sent anyone else. So anyway, Obi-Wan is in a bind and Inquisitor Reva is on her way. And so he needs a new strategy to escape the Three Stooges. So he takes the drug conveniently given to him earlier and throws it on the ground. All three henchmen get knocked out. Obi-Wan takes back his lightsaber and escapes the room. Right, so just some things to address here, okay? First, why didn't the henchman grab that drug and stop Obi-Wan? I thought these two henchmen both had a hold of his arms. Like, did none of them see him using his arm to grab that? Here's a hint, fellas. If you want to restrain your target and do not want him to do anything that may lead to him escaping, probably restrain him better and keep an eye on him if he starts to reach for things. Like, how did Baldo here not see him reach into his pocket for the drug? In fact, the henchmen pull out his lightsaber. Why did they not search him for anything else? Obi-Wan has a gun too. You think they would want to remove that from him? And even after Obi-Wan grabs a hold of the drug, why did none of the henchmen stop him or take the drug from him? It isn't like Obi-Wan instantly dropped it. He takes it out, holds it in front of them, says a quick line, then drops it.
Well, everybody bleeds.
I would say they had more than the average reaction time to grab it from Obi-Wan, and all three of them don't even react to it. Obi-Wan should have just instantly thrown it on the ground and this would have been better. But thirdly, this isn't how gas masks work. You have to put on the gas mask before in order for you to be immune to chemical gases or toxins. You don't walk into a toxic gas room and then put on the mask. You do it before. Somebody may try to counter this saying, oh, he held his breath. Well, if you have to inhale the gas and holding your breath can prevent it from getting into your body, why did Obi-Wan feel the need to put on the gas mask? Just hold your breath. Whichever way it is, gas masks just don't work this way. You have to put it on before, not after. And last minor point, why doesn't Obi-Wan use the Force here? He could probably use that to escape these henchmen and break out of this grasp. Well, I guess I'm never gonna know the answer to that question, will I? So Inquisitor Reva is still on her way, and Obi-Wan finally finds the real room Leia is in and gets a whopping chair to the chest. Wow, Obi-Wan Kenobi, everybody.
Your father sent me.
Where's the army?
That is an excellent question, Leia. Obi-Wan takes Leia by the hand and guides her out of the whole facility, somehow not getting seen or stopped by any of the guards or employees in the building. I guess they all left or just didn't care, or did Obi-Wan beat all of them up? Oh, who knows at this point.
It's been easier with the army.
Ooh, another good question. Ask that to your father once you get back, Leia. I really do want to know too. Anyway, Reva shows up to the room and sees that Kenobi is nowhere to be found.
Where is he?
Shh, Moses, you're trying too hard. You're not Batman, okay? You're not intimidating when you yell. You're just funny and obnoxious. Stop it. Like, is this the first take and this is what they went with? There were no better deliveries of this line at all? Alright then, so Obi-Wan takes Leia in the middle of the public to change clothing.
Is that you're a Jedi?
Shh. Quiet. head.
Then put that thing away. Put it in your pocket or something. Don't have it out. If you really don't want to be found out that you're a Jedi, maybe you should put away one of the items that is the biggest giveaway that you're a Jedi. There are so many better ways to conceal your saber, Dumbo. Anyway, Obi-Wan tells Leia that they must get across the city to a transport and that she must now do what she is told to get out. We cut back to Reva, who is being confronted by the Inquisitors, who now know what she is up to. Grand Inquisitor tells her that no matter what she is wanting, it will not change the stench of what she is.
Maybe that stench is your failure.
That was not a good comeback. So Grand Inquisitor tells Reva to stand down and that she is no longer required to find Kenobi. Yeah, I would fire her too. If she found info that could lead to Kenobi and told no one, I would find that pretty appalling. So the Inquisitors head off to find Kenobi, and Reva decides to put a bounty out for Obi-Wan. And this bounty pretty much goes to every single bounty hunter on the planet. Hallelujah. Even this T-Rex from Jurassic Park is going Kenobi hunting. So Obi-Wan happens to see that now he's got a bounty on him and puts his hood up to disguise himself. Yeah, you might want to buy a mask too or something, Obi-Wan. Maybe face paint? Obi-Wan heads to a street shop and gets Leia some new clothing. Afterwards, Obi-Wan tells Leia that if anyone asks, they are farmers from Tall and that Leia is his daughter.
Granddaughter, maybe.
What?
Nothing.
Oh no, she's going to become more annoying, isn't she? Also, what the heck are you wearing? Is that a towel on your head? So now Obi-Wan and Leia are trying to get off the planet without getting caught by the Inquisitors. While they are walking, little Leia starts to blab her mouth and asks things she really shouldn't be saying out loud.
I read that Jedi can make things float. Make me float.
No.
Because you can't. Why aren't you using your lightsaber? Maybe it's because you're not really a Jedi.
Leia, shut up! Not only is she annoying, but she really should not talk about this out loud. It seems, Leia, you have absolutely no idea of the dire situation you're in and the risk you are creating. Obi-Wan, you really need to pull her aside and straighten her out. Tell her that if she doesn't stop talking and do what you say, you both can frickin' die. I know she's a kid and only 10, but you can still get it across to Leia that she shouldn't be saying these things out loud for her protection. Leia, you were kidnapped and captured, and you took that very seriously, so why the hell are you not taking this current situation seriously? Okay, back to the fake Jedi. He finds out that there was a bounty on Kenobi and decides to go on a Jedi hunt. He's gonna catch a big one. What a beautiful day. He's not scared.
We had him. Look at this reward.
Oh, that's embarrassing.
Embarrassing how? The reward didn't even exist when he was with you. It just came out now. I mean, maybe you're trying to say it's unlucky, sure, but it's not embarrassing. There was no way you could have possibly known. So anyway, Obi-Wan and Leia go down an alley, and why the hell did you put your hood down, Obi-Wan? You put it up to help hide yourself, and now it's down why? They come across a bounty hunter, but Obi-Wan comedically knocks him out and drags him to the side. The Inquisitors get to locking down the port and planet, and they discover that put out a bounty for Kenobi. Reva is taking position on top of the roofs and is waiting for a sign of Kenobi's location. Back to Obi-Wan and Leia, they start to have a conversation as they think of their next plan to get Leia back home.
I let your parents know you're safe.
No, you are definitely not safe at all, buddy. We are still quite out in the open and being hunted. Don't know why you told her parents that. So anyway, the two of them talk about Lola, that Leia seems to be hiding something, that Obi-Wan's hiding something, etc., blah. Then Obi-Wan hears a beeping from far away and goes to check it out and tells Leia to stay put. He goes and sees that his bounty is being displayed on the bounty hunter's wristwatch. Why the heck did that activate just randomly? Well, in-universe, no reason, it just happened to do so. But out-of-universe, the writer did this so that we can have this upcoming stupid scene. Leia sees Obi-Wan has a bounty and asks why there is a bounty on him. Did you not already know this? You were told earlier and it was heavily implied by Obi-Wan that you are both being hunted. Did you not get that part?
Can I try this one instead?
Half the city is looking for you. Put this on. Because if I use the Force, then it'll draw attention to us.
Who was?
There's a bounty hunter.
I thought you were supposed to be very smart and observant for your age, Leia. Did you not get the impression, based on Obi-Wan's wording and his changing of clothes for you, that you are being hunted? Okay, well, I guess not. Anyway, now that she has put this together, that there's a bounty on Kenobi, she, for some reason, gets suspicious of him. Why? She tells Kenobi that he lied and that he's the reason that she is here and that's what he's been hiding. That they took her to get to Kenobi. She asks if her father even sent him, how would she know he's not the real kidnapper, that Kenobi is not even a Jedi, etc. Right, so I will answer this for you, Leia. Firstly, No, he did not lie. Lying is not the same as not telling you something or hiding something. Secondly, that is quite an inference you are making from a picture of a bounty. That the henchman took you to get to Kenobi? How the heck did you come up with that just based on Kenobi's bounty picture? Kenobi here could just be someone trying to help you who also just happens to have a bounty on his head. Just because he has a bounty does not mean he's the reason you were kidnapped.
You have no idea what I'm risking being here, Your Highness.
Thirdly, if he was the real kidnapper, why the hell would he rescue you, and why would the original kidnappers put a bounty on Kenobi? Why would they do that if they were on the same side? Your conclusions are not well sorted out, Leia. Obi-Wan tries to calm Leia down, but doesn't do it very well. I mean, you could tell her things about her father that would show you know him well, or you could just make her float or force push her so she stops, or just mind trick her, screw it. Better than her running away. Oh great, she's running off. We're gonna get another stupid chase scene. So yeah, now Leia is running away and another chase scene ensues that is as stupid as the last one. A chase scene that lasts 10 minutes that should end in 10 seconds. Also, this chase scene is very poor. Leia doesn't run fast at all, and Obi-Wan doesn't look like he is trying to catch up. He looks more like he's light jogging. It's very slow and unexciting, and this whole scene is shot in a way that doesn't emphasize the feeling of being chased. This honestly would have been a better scene to use for the shaky cam than the opening of the last episode. But it only gets worse from here. When the bounty hunter recognizes Leia, Obi-Wan sees this and pulls out his gun and shoots the guy while punching the other bounty hunter. But get a load of what happens next.
Oh, that's embarrassing.
Now, this is what we call bad editing and staging. Leia literally runs into Obi-Wan and somehow Obi-Wan didn't catch her despite her being within arm's length. But if you can see, the editing is trying to cover this up and it fails spectacularly. You know what would have been better? Just have her run the other way. Also, take a look at this next shot. Where is Obi-Wan? How the hell did he fall so far behind? He was literally within arm's reach in the last shot. How fast is Leia to get so far ahead? What, is Obi-Wan too old?
Your powers are weak, old man.
This is the use of that classic trick that editors do when you cut to the next shot, the one chasing someone gets further behind between each cut. It's honestly annoying when you notice this and makes chases less exciting to watch overall. Well, that and also Leia just running so frickin' slow. So now Obi-Wan and Leia are both on the rooftop sleeping between each one, and the T-Rex finds them and starts to shoot at Obi-Wan and Leia. Well, this bounty hunter's a terrible shot. He misses as much as stormtroopers do. But hey, I get it. T-Rexes have very small arms. But can we get bounty hunters who are a little bit better at shooting? When the shooting is this bad, it makes it feel like the character has plot armor and makes the action scene much less tense. Also, why doesn't Kenobi just pull out his saber? I mean, why not? He's been found out. These bounty hunters are trying to kill him. Just whip the saber out. There's no reason not to now. Right, so Reva sees this happening and just happens to be in proximity to see this rooftop shootout.
What a juicy coincidence!
So she decides to head towards this shootout, but not without showing off her parkour skills. And I gotta say, it looks dumb as hell. Oh my god, so cool. Hardcore parkour, bro. Like, this looks really funny to see. She does like somersaults, backflips, and a bunch of showy stuff for no reason other than, hey, look at me go. Reminds me of the book of Boba Fett where that guy does the 360 no-scope. Back to the shootout, Leia sees she is now out of rooftop. While she is pondering to jump and kill herself, Kenobi continues to get shot at, and this fight is very underwhelming. All the bounty hunters keep missing, Obi-Wan doesn't pull out his saber, Kenobi doesn't shoot very well either. It's just a bunch of shooting back and forth. It's a very mind-numbing, not very cool action scene. So Obi-Wan finally shoots the T-Rex, and in the meantime, Leia decides to commit suicide by jumping off the building. Obi-Wan runs to the ledge and sees that Leia is holding onto a wire. Obi-Wan tells her to hold on tight while he thinks of a way to save her. But she can't hold on and she slips. Obi-Wan finally uses the Force like he should have ages ago to save her. So what, Obi-Wan couldn't use the Force up until this moment? Is that why he couldn't use it before in any other instance where it would have been useful? Was he cut off from the Force? Like, what's going on here? Oh, by the way, while all of this is happening, the robot bounty hunter is still there. Obi-Wan didn't kill it, it's still there, and for some reason it's decided not to shoot at Obi-Wan anymore, despite Obi-Wan having his back turned and this robot having a good chance to take him down. Why? No clue. I guess because if he did continue to shoot Obi-Wan, he would die and then we can't have a show anymore. So anyway, Leia is slowly lowered down and Obi-Wan comes down to check on her.
You really are a Jedi.
Uh-huh, yeah. Now can you stop being an annoying, disobedient, obnoxious fake prodigy and just do what he says so that nobody dies? Thank you. So now Obi-Wan and Leia get to the port, but it is shut down and there is no way out of it. The robot bounty hunter appears, but gets shot at by the fake Jedi. Somehow, the troopers and Inquisitors do not hear that gunshot, despite them being fairly close by within hearing range. It first appears that Hajjah is here to take Obi-Wan, but actually, he is offering a way for them to escape because he wants to make amends. Why? No, really, why? You literally last scene were looking for Obi-Wan to bring him in, and now you just decide you want to help him off screen? Like, the show does not give any indication on why he changed his mind and decided to help Obi-Wan. And this is dangerous, you know, helping a fugitive, a Jedi. Like, literally, Hajjah does this for no reason other than, oh, he's a good guy now, just deal with it. But hey, it's another convenient setup for our heroes. No need for them to figure out a clever escape plan anymore. So the Grand Inquisitor asks the henchmen where Obi-Wan is, and they say they don't know. So the Inquisitors chops them up with the spinny blade. So we see Reva finish her hardcore parkour demonstration and comes across Hajjah. Again, no idea why he is doing this. Like, you gonna go up against an Inquisitor for Kenobi? This is very dangerous and deadly, and again, I don't see why he has a strong motivation to do this. So Hajjah tries to delay Reva, but she senses that Hajjah knows where Kenobi is, so she forces Hajjah against the wall and uses Kylo's Force mind reading to uncover Kenobi's location. Wow, so she now knows where Kenobi is because these two coincidentally happen to bump into each other. How did Hajjah even find Inquisitor Reva? How did he know she would be here? Did he happen to see her hardcore parkour skills from the ground? Also, Reva, if your mind reading thing is something you can do, why didn't you use it on Owen back on Tatooine? If you suspected he was maybe hiding a Jedi knew about one, why didn't you use the Force on him? I guess Reva got that power up between the two episodes. So we cut to the cargo port where Kenobi and Leia are looking to board a ship. Obi-Wan says they must be careful because this could be a setup. Leia decides to respond to that remark.
Is it that hard to believe you might have friends? If somebody is offering us help, I think we should take it.
Oh, shut up, you buffoon. You were offered help by Kenobi, and you ran away from him based on the unreasonable inference that you already knew about, by the way, because he told you you were both being hunted.
You have no idea what I'm risking being here, Your Highness. Half the city is looking for you. Put this on.
Who was?
There's a bounty hunter.
You were not trusting of Kenobi at all almost this entire episode and kept saying that he's not a Jedi and kept asking him to prove it. You didn't believe he was here to help or that he was a Jedi until he used the Force on you. Leia, you are a hypocritical smart aleck that needs to get masking tape put on.
What now?
Nothing, you just remind me of someone.
Yeah. Jar Jar. So as they head into the port chit-chatting, the door opens up and oh no, it's Reva. She found them, oh dear. So Obi-Wan hides and sends Leia to the ship, telling her to go on and that he will follow behind. Reva takes her saber out and begins to, well, just watch.
Obi-Wan, I can feel you. Your fear betrays you.
The circus is in town!
What is this delivery? Reva, are you trying to tease him? I'm gonna get you, Obi-Wan. I'm gonna get you. Come out and play. Reva, are you sure you don't want to be a comedian? Or star in a sitcom? I can provide the laugh track for you.
Obi-Wan, I can feel you. Your fear betrays you.
It's so silly and quite bizarre. The creators of the show thinks this is to be taken seriously. You might as well get Reva to say Marco and Obi-Wan to say Polo. Not only are these lines unintentionally funny, but they are very lazy. This is like generic Sith bad guy dialogue that they just copied and pasted from a comic or something. I can feel you, your thoughts betray you, come out to play. It's so lazy. So after presenting her comedic material and not getting Obi-Wan to laugh, she tells Obi-Wan she is going to take him to Lord Vader. That Anakin is in fact not dead and has been looking for Obi-Wan for quite some time. So, minor point, but I'm kind of surprised that Obi-Wan has no idea that Vader is alive. Like, I feel that Vader would be quite a known and public figure throughout the galaxy at this point. It's kind of unbelievable that Obi-Wan would not know about him for 10 years. Yeah, maybe not the biggest critique, but it is something I just find odd. Anyway, Third Sister is about to find Obi-Wan, like literally a few feet away, but gets interrupted by Grand Inquisitor. Wow. How did he know she was here? Did he feel a disturbance in the Force when Reva was giving her bad comedic material to Obi-Wan? So now he is here and tells Reva to move aside. She does so, and right when Grand Inquisitor puts his hand up to use the Force, Reva stabs him in the gut. Wow, that is so lame. Grand Inquisitor, I guess, couldn't see that coming. But hey, it's quite convenient for Obi-Wan because thanks to her, they are both now distracted, so Obi-Wan takes this opportunity to run and get on the ship. So now Obi-Wan is aboard the ship, and the ship takes off. Reva realizes, oh crap, I was distracted, and runs towards the ship, but it's too late. The vessel flies off to escape, but not before Reva demonstrates her new comedic material.
Can't find Obi-Wan! We will find you! We will destroy you!
I will find him!
On board the ship, Obi-Wan is distraught and is shocked by the fact that Anakin is alive, and the episode ends with the shot of Darth Vader in the Bacta tank, right? I do kind of like this graphic edit here between Kenobi and Vader. Definitely better than Reva's comedy. And episode 2 is done. Well, the quality definitely dropped quite a bit in this episode. Wanna bet that it gets better from here?